As I welcome the quintessential, the phenomenal Abraham Owoseni. Welcome, sir.
Hey, thank you so much, sir. Was that all for me? Thank you for your kind words. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. Um, it's been great. It's been great knowing you as well, and I think the journey has been great. Just like Mr. Abiodun said, we've known each other from way back from high school, and it's been a great one. Please, someone give us a feedback in the comment box. Let me know if you can hear me well, so we will know if there's need to adjust anything. Let me know if you can hear me pretty well. So we'll be going in fully now. Mr. Abi has introduced me, and I'm trusting that this will be a great session, a great learning session. I've been opportune to facilitate this session at one to other places, and this is an opportunity for me to share it here. Okay, welcome Isaac Chika, welcome Rita Chibuike. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Rita. Please, can you hear us well? Give us a feedback in the comment box if you can hear us pretty well. Um, so let's dive in. Really, our focus today is on how to identify and engage the right mentors and make the most out of mentorship. That is amazing, right? Amazing. Okay, thank you, Chick. Thank you, Chika, for that. Thank you, Rita. Rita says I can hear you. Thank you. Right. So, how can you identify and engage the right mentors and make the most out of mentorship? Right. That's the focus. That's the focus. And let's dive in without wasting much time. Right. You just let us know where you're joining in from in the comment box. Just put in your location, where you're joining in from, Ottawa, Canada, Ikeja, Lagos. Let us know, please, where you're joining from in the comment box, right? So, key highlights, right? This training session will be business like, so we will go in through and we'll get on through, right? Please feel free to ask any question as concerning this session at any point during this session. Just drop in the comment box, and someone in the Growth Africa team will note that down so we can take it at the end of the session, right? Feel free to ask your questions, and if you have a contribution as well as we go on, we are learning together, right? And then please share your learnings as we get on along or after this session. Feel free to share your learnings on the Growth Up group, on social media, on your status, on your stories, on your IG stories. Tag me at Abraham Owoseni, and other people can get to learn from you as well, right? So with this, having said this, I think we should just dive in. And who is excited for this? Really, let me know. Are you excited for this? Please let me know. If you're ready, put in the comment box, I am ready. Let me know who is ready. I am ready. Thank you, Madu Abuchi from Abuja, Nigeria. Okay, Rita says from Asaba, Delta State. Right. Thank you so much for joining in, guys. If you're ready, please let me know. Put in the comment box, I am ready. Put it in the comment box, I am ready. Let's know if you're ready, and then we could dive in together. Let's know if you're ready. We'll dive in together, right? How to identify and engage the right mentors and make the most out of mentorship, right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I had a similar session like this with Madu Abuchi Steven on his young leaders community, the School on the Rock, and it was very terrific, right? Thank you so much for the opportunity, Madu Abuchi. I'm looking forward to today's session as well, right? Wow. Okay, Rita says I'm ready. Thank you so much. Chika is from Masaba as well. How come everybody's from Masaba? Wow. Awesome. I'm ready. Okay, so let's dive in, guys. Let's dive in. Let's dive in quick. So, for those who have not met me, my name is Abraham Owoseni. I'm a personal development trainer, and I'm a youth development practitioner. I'm an expert at it, and I'm an educator and a life and career coach. Right. So it's an opportunity for me to come your way today. If we are just meeting for the first time, wow, it's an opportunity, and I do not take that for granted. Great to meet you today, and great to share this platform together with my friend Biodun Mustafa on this session, right? So, I'm the founder of Young Breeds. Young Breeds is a social enterprise, and our focus is on children and youth development across the continent. Over the past year, since 2013, we've reached out to over 6,921 direct beneficiaries across our various children and youth development interventions, and over 12,000 indirect beneficiaries from all of our programs. I'm also the lead consultant at Mind Mode. Mind Mode is an human development agency. We mold and equip minds of individuals and organizations with life skills so they can achieve their goals. We do that through coaching, training, and consulting, right? So I want to welcome you once again, how to identify and engage the right mentors and make the most out of mentorship. That's our focus. That's our focus. If you're using a mobile device, I advise you put on the auto rotate and watch this on the landscape mode so you could see my slides pretty well. I'll be sharing a bit of my slides as we get along, right? And I guess a few slides I'll share, and then most of the part of this session as well, I'll speak to my slides. So please put on the auto rotate and watch this on the landscape mode. And at this time, I want to advise that you turn off every form of distraction, get a notepad beside you, own this learning, see this as a rich learning session, right? The value we're sharing today is something that you could have paid $1,000 for, right? So if this is coming to you at no cost, still make sure you pay attention, right? Someone has said before that some people are so poor that they can't even pay attention, right? I don't want that to be you. Make sure you own this learning and get the best value from this by paying attention, right? Thank you so much for this. I had in anticipation. I want to appreciate you for that. Okay, good. So I'm going to break this session into four main parts. The first one is identification. That talks about how to identify a mentor, right? The next part talks about engagement. And the third part talks about relationship. Now you have identified a mentor, you have engaged the mentor. How do you relate well with a mentor, right? That's going to be the third part. And these three will be the most important, right? If there's anything you gain from this session, these top three will be the highest of value. And I'm just going to end with guidance. Now you have a mentor, and how do you get the best from this relationship such that it can help you to learn and to grow, right? That's going to be these four major parts of this sharing session. I'm going to share along that path, right? Is this exciting? Please feel free to share this video on your to your timeline. Let other people get in along and get along in this session. I found that this has been a major gap for a number of young people. A major gap for a number of young people with the fact that there is no particular school where they have been taught on how to engage a mentor. There is no particular, so everybody just dabbles into it and finds a way to swim in the ocean of mentorship. But here's an opportunity today, so please feel free to invite other people, young professionals alike, to get this value. Mentorship is one major learning platform that will increase your mileage, right? It's going to be amazing, right? Now let me share one or two limiting beliefs about mentorship before we even talk about identification. Now the first limiting belief about mentorship is that my mentor owes me. I don't know if you have heard that before. Some people think that, oh yes, if I have a mentor, my mentor owes me, and so my mentor owes me his time, our resources, his resources. Oh, that my mentor should automatically give me his time and all of that, right? Many people assume that. But I want to debunk that belief. That's why it's a limiting belief. I want to debunk that belief. And the truth is that nobody owes you anything, right? Nobody owes you anything. I used to have that belief before as well. Most times I send a person a mail. This is a mentor figure I have, and I don't get a reply. So I always think that how can this person be doing this? How come can't didn't you see the mail? That's not, I used to have this belief that I'm entitled to a response. I used to have this belief that I'm entitled to the person's time. And then, some of us just feel that I can slide into someone's DM and say, "Can I see you tomorrow, sir?" It doesn't work that way. That's one limiting belief we need to debunk. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything, right? Nobody owes you a reply. Nobody owes you his time. Nobody owes you his resources. So when you have an opportunity of somebody who gives you his or her time, energy, and resource, it's an opportunity, it's an honor, and that should not be treated with levity. It's an opportunity and it's an honor that should not be treated with levity, right? It's an opportunity and honor that should not be treated with levity. Now, the second mindset about mentorship is this one. This one is common, right? My mentor will give me money. Have you heard that before? Who has heard about this before? My mentor will give me money. This is one major limiting belief, and it also does not work that way. Mentorship is not sponsorship. Mentorship is not sponsorship. I'm going to show you quickly now about where mentorship comes in. Mentorship is actually a form of a learning intervention, right? If you need sponsorship, you can seek for organizations who give grants and loans, and that is a separate business model. That is not mentorship, right? So a mentor is not a sponsor. A mentor is not a sponsor. This is one major limiting belief. And so this person, you see this person as a mentor, and you assume, oh, because you are doing a project, the mentor should give you money. It's not automatic, right? Or you assume because you want to register an organization, the mentor should pay for it because the mentor gave you the idea. You assume that because the mentor tells you to buy this book, the mentor should give you the book because the mentor is the author of the book. It doesn't work that way. Mentorship is not sponsorship. Mentorship is not sponsorship. Someone tell me, let me know in the comment box if you're finding this valuable, right? Let me know in the comment box. This is awesome, right? These are two limiting beliefs I want you to debunk from today so that you can get the best out of a mentorship relationship. The mentorship relationship has many other results for it rather than these first two, right? Now, having said this, now let's progress. I want to show you where mentorship falls in the entire equation of things. Let me show you this. There are about 4 or 5 models of learning and development, right? We are always learning every single day. We're always learning. As a person, you are learning, you are growing, you are learning, you are growing, you are learning, you are growing. So every single day we are always getting to learn, we're always getting to grow, right? So it's something that we need as we get along on our journey. If you're not growing, then you are not living. And from the little biology we did, right, we learned that all living things are meant to grow, right? And guess what, guys? This growth is not just a biological growth. Yes, you're getting taller. Yes, as a lady, your breast is getting bigger. Yes, as a guy, all of those developmental signs are going. Those are fantastic, right? But you see, the growth we are talking about in this context is not even biological, right? We talk about intellectual growth. You are meant to grow. You are meant to keep growing, and one major way to growing is learning. Now, let me show you the various models of learning and development. Now, the first one is what we call training and teaching. Right? This is one major one. Most of us, everybody went to school because we wanted to, be taught, right? That is one major model of learning that everybody gets to know, right? Exactly. Thank you, Rita. Rita says mentorship is a form of learning intervention. Thank you so much for that, Rita. Right? So, mentorship, training and teaching is one model. So most of us, we went to school, we went to high school, we went to university, some went to polytechnic. We've done lots of trainings, we've done lots of went to lots of seminars, we've gone to workshops, we've gone to vocational schools. The goal was you just wanted to be taught to learn a skill, to grow in competency, to become literate. That is one major form of learning. But guess what? There are still many others. Now you find that many people have only thought that going to school alone is one model of learning, and because of that, they've not been able to benefit from all the other models of learning. But this is an opportunity. I'm glad you are learning this today. There are other models of learning. Training and teaching alone is not the only model of learning. What other ways do we have? Watch this. We talked about mentorship, right? Which is our focus today. Mentorship. And we're going to dwell extensively on this. Now, we also have what is called counseling. Counseling. A counselor is someone who has, years of experience, in a field, in a subject, and you as a person, as a young professional, you subscribe under the tutelage of a person, so that from the years of experience, this person can help you with some of the things he or she has learned on the journey, and that also is one model of learning, right? But again, that is not the entire, that's not the end. You can learn from a counselor, right? Some notable counselors, many people, know is, you talk about relationship counseling, marriage counseling. And people always relegate counseling to marriage, and so they found a guy, they found a lady they want to get married to, and because of that, they now subscribe to 3 months counseling, 1 year counseling. Some even don't even go for counseling. But again, you see that because of that mindset, we limited our learning to counseling alone. But let me just use that example, even going forward. Imagine you're actually preparing for a marital edifice. You're preparing to get married, right? You can actually learn and develop in that area of life using all these models of learning and development we're talking about. You could have gone for trainings on that area of life. You could have gotten lots of teachings, and you could get a mentor in that area of life as well. And you could also get counseling that you get in that stage before you get married. But look at this. Let me show you some few more. We have therapy. Therapy works in a way whereby when a person gets hurt, the hurt could come in any form. Maybe it's a form of abuse, or a form of or emotional imbalance, or a form of, name it. What happens is that when a person gets hurt, you don't just go to your shell and expect to be healed, right? Most times it doesn't happen that way. It's just like when you have an injury, a big injury, you just cover it up and assume it to get healed, right? No, you get the care, you get the cure, you go for the medical help that will make that injury get healed fast, and in a very safe way, so that you don't get other infections even because of that hurt. But you find that many people, because of one hurt, they've got they have actually increased the odds, they've multiplied the odds. That's because they didn't know about this model of learning that is called therapy. A therapist helps an hurtful person to get healed, right? And let me show you the next one I have here. I think it's the last one I have here. It's called coaching. Coaching is different from training, it's different from mentorship, it's different from counseling, it's different from therapy. A coach is a person who helps you to get from point A to point B, right? You want to get from point A to point B. A coach actually pushes you to get into that point. A coach helps you to achieve your desired goals. A coach helps you to attain any developmental goal you desire to achieve, right? So we have coaches in various areas. We have life coaches, we have career coaches, we have relationship coaches, we have coaches in various areas of life, right? A coach simply helps you. You want to get a point C, someone will pull you from where you are, point A coach will help you to identify where you are and pulls you to where you want to be. That's a coach, right? And a coach does not need to be experienced in the area you want to be. A coach does not coach you with experience. A coach does not coach you with personal experiences. A coach uses sets of tools to pull you through and push you through to achieve your desired goals, right? This is amazing. Right? So our focus in this session is how we can pick mentorship, right, as a learning model to keep growing and developing. Mentorship to keep growing and developing, right? Awesome. Now, some people may want to know who is a mentor. I'm going to share that shortly, but let me explain something about the human nature. There's something about the human nature, which is the fact that we are social beings, right? Everybody is a social being. God created us in such a way that we are social beings, and where I know at times like these, where there's a pandemic and people are socially distancing from one another. But guess what? In the order of creation, we are created as social beings. And I used to give an illustration. Imagine you actually you are locked in within the house, maybe within this lockdown, and you are within your room, and you all through the day you didn't come out to see anybody, maybe in the house or even within the neighborhood, and all through that day you were locked inside. You even when you didn't even come out to eat, you didn't go to the kitchen, you didn't go anywhere, you were just locked in the room, right? And even inside your room you have your toilet, so even when you needed to go to the bathroom, easily you got to the bathroom. And even when you wanted to eat, they brought the food, and the person just dropped it at your doorstep. You didn't even see the person. And guess what? You continue living that for 3 months, not seeing anybody. And guess what, let me say this shock, let me say this one: you are not even with your phone. No internet, no Wi-Fi. You're not with your phone. Now I want to ask you, after 3 months, will you still be a human being? Someone let me know in the comment box. Will you still be a human being? Remember, you don't have your phone with you. Even the food they only bring it and drop it at your doorstep. You don't even see who brought the food. You are locked inside for 3 months. You don't see anybody. Someone give me a feedback. What do you think that person will still remain as a human being? What do you think? Would that person still be a human being? What do you think will happen? Chika is laughing. What do you think? What would have happened is that the human nature inside that person would have diminished, and that person will be like would be like a fish that was brought on the land. And you find that it's difficult for such a person to thrive, because ideally the habitat for thriving is in the water, and then when you put the fish back into the water, the fish can thrive. That's what happens, you see. So exactly, I like this. Rita, thank you for this. Rita said that would be a prison. But even Rita, if you look at this, even in prison they are co-prisoners. So even in prison they are co-prisoners, and you can still relate with co-prisoners, right? Even if you are not talking much, for example, in scriptures, we saw how when Joseph was in prison, he could relate with the chief, but butler. He could, they could still. We learned that they were conversing, right? Chika says, maybe I will still be a human being, but I would have lost the social attribute. Exactly. You will have lost the social attribute that makes us human. The social attribute says we must relate with others. We must talk with other people. We must commune with others. We must live with other people. We must work with other people. We must collaborate with people. We must partner with people. We must get married to another person. We must, guess that is how it works. We are human beings, right? And it is from the root of our nature as human being, that is where mentorship stems from. Mentorship stems from that root as social beings, right? That is where mentorship steps in. This is amazing. This is amazing. Now let's progress, somebody. So who is a mentor? Let me just say this. This is just a definition I want to give of mentorship quickly. Mentorship, as a long-term relationship, is a long-term relationship that meets a developmental need, right? I want you to take note of this, please. Get your notepad. I used to say that when you're in a learning session like this, make sure you not just note down the sweet words, the rhymes, and all of the the writings. No, one of the major things I always advise that you write is what I call your highest learning point and your most pressing action point. I'm going to say that again. your highest learning point and your most pressing action point. And out of the two, your most pressing action point is actually the most important. It talks about what will you do after now. What will you do immediately after this session? So as we get along, write down what you want to do immediately after now. That is what makes learning practical. That is what makes learning result driven. If you don't put it to work, if you don't take action, it's just mere storage, right? So it's good I mentioned that. So what is mentorship? Mentorship is a long-term relationship that meets a developmental need. There must be a developmental need. That's why I know I really highlighted that. What is your developmental need? Right? What is your developmental need? And this is how it works. Most times you may not be able to have a mentor that meets all your developmental needs. As such, you're going to break down all of your developmental needs into the various areas of life. For example, write this down in your notes, somebody. In your spiritual life, what is your developmental need currently now? Your spiritual life, what is your developmental need? What is your developmental need? Go to your career. What is your developmental needs in career? What is your developmental needs in career? Go to the next area of life. Your social life, your emotional and social life. What is your developmental need? Are you seeing this now? Go to the next area of life. Your physical and health life. What is your developmental need? Are you seeing this now? So that is actually how it works. You must be able to define what is your developmental need in that specific area of life. And what that happens is that when you identify a mentor and engage a mentor, the role of the mentor is to support you to manage your own learning. I want you to watch within the lines of this definition. The mentor is only supporting you in your own learning. What that means is that you are actually learning. It doesn't stop your learning. Remember, in the models we talked about, there's teaching and training, there's mentorship, there's therapy, there's counseling, there's coaching. You are learning using all of the other means, and mentorship helps you to support that developmental needs as well. It's like you are adding to it. It doesn't stop your development or your learning. It's an addendum, an addition to your ongoing learning. Do you find this? Does this make sense? And guess what? What now happens is that because of that, you will be able to maximize your potential. You will be able to develop your skills and improve performance. And of course, you'll be able to become the person you want to be, right? That's a pretty comprehensive definition on mentorship, right? Now, let's make progress, somebody. I remember when I was in the university, I came in as a newbie, right? Like everybody will. And when I got into school, I knew that, of course, I would need a mentor to guide me through that area of life. And one day I remembered I went to a fellowship in school, and we were having this meeting, and somebody was invited. Now I'm sharing with you how I met, one of my mentors. He was invited to speak, and I was gleaned on that session from the beginning to the end. When he was done speaking, I knew I needed to connect with this person. You always have that connection within your conscience that I need to connect with this person. There's always what I call an affinity of values. I'm going to talk about that shortly in detail. And so what happened after the session was done, I went to him and I introduced myself. My name is Abraham. I'm an 100 level student. I just came in. I'm in this. And guess what? The bit about this is that, at that point, he was already on the master's program, about to finish through, and here was I. We're in the same department. I was in 100 level, and I remember I went to him. Some of you say you are shy to approach a prospective mentor. You need to be delivered from that today, right? And when I went to him, I introduced myself, and when I was done, I expressed I was vulnerable. In identifying a mentor and in engaging a mentor, you need to be vulnerable, right? There's no need you don't need any perfection. You don't need any perfection in your communication. You don't need any perfection in your in your oral or verbal or written communication, just put your best foot forward. And that was what I did. When I was done, I asked if I could, come frequently to his room, if I could learn from him, and all of that. I remember that night he gave me his room number, and that was the beginning of that relationship. It was an invitation to intimacy. That was the invitation to intimacy. I want you to know that that was the invitation. It was still an invitation. It was an invitation to intimacy, right? But now, how do you now maximize even when you have that invitation to intimacy, which is what we're going to get along now. So, in life, there is always someone who has gone ahead. There is always someone who has gone ahead. You see, that's how God has created it. There's always somebody who has gone ahead. And I remember, a verse in scriptures in Proverbs. Actually, Proverbs is a book of wisdom. If you want to grow in wisdom, read the book of Proverbs. He talks about he that walks with the wise. What will happen? He shall be wise. She shall be wise. Right? It's a rule of thumb. It's a rule of thumb for living and for life. So someone will always be ahead. I remember, if you look at what Isaac Newton said, the beauty about it is that no matter the great dreams you have, somebody has gone ahead, right? Somebody has gone ahead, no matter the great dreams you have. And Isaac Newton said that, when he said, if I can see farther, it is because I am standing on the shoulders of those who have gone ahead of me. This is a rule of thumb for living. If I can see farther, it's because I'm standing on the shoulders of those who have gone ahead of me. I'm going to give an illustration. Now, imagine you are, I'm about 1.61 meters, in my height. I'm not too tall, and I'm not short. All those people that used to call me short, I'm not short. That's my height, 1.61 meter. Well, as the last time I checked. Now, so imagine I'm 1.61 meters in height, and someone else is 1.8 meters in height. Are you seeing that now? Follow through with me. Someone else is 1.8 meters in height. So if I climb on the shoulders of the person who is 1.8 meters in height, what will be my new total height? Someone put that answer in the comment box for me. What will be my total height? I'm 1.61 meters in height. I'm standing on the shoulders of another person who is 1.8 meters in height. What will be my new height? Let's know how many people are good in maths now. What will be my new height? Someone tell me, put in the comment box what the new height is. What will be my new height? If I can see farther, it is because I'm standing on the shoulders of those who have gone ahead of me. Rita says 3.14 meters. Wow. Is she correct? Okay. Chika says approximately 3.4. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Now, thank you so much. Now, have you seen a person who is 3 meters? Let's even assume he's 3 meters. Have you seen a person who is 3 meters tall before? Thank you, Sarah. Sarah says 3.4. Joshua says 3.4. Thank you. Fantastic. Have you seen a person who is 3 meters tall before? Let's even assume 3 meters. Who has seen a person who is 3 meters tall? 3 meters tall that's about 300 centimeters. Have you seen a person who is as tall as that? I have not seen. The tallest I've seen is about maybe 1.9 and maybe 2.0. In my class then in college, we had someone who was about, I think, 1.8 or 1.9 thereabout. Right? Now, just imagine that I'm this height, and just by standing on the shoulders of somebody who is taller than me, I can become 3 meters tall. Wow, this is amazing. So imagine you are 3 meters tall in career. Imagine you are 3 meters tall in marriage. You are 3 meters tall in relationship and in social and emotional life. Imagine you are 3 meters tall in physical and health well-being. Imagine you are that tall. What that means is that you can see farther. It's a accumulation of your own learning. Remember we said it does not stop your own learning. You are learning through training and coaching. You are learning through teaching. You are learning through therapy. You are learning through counseling. You are learning through. It doesn't stop your learning. It only adds to your learning. It's going to be an amazing thing. In cumulation, you are wiser, you are stronger, you are smarter, your head is bigger. This is amazing, guys. This is the rule of thumb for mentorship. This is the rule of thumb for mentorship. And I want us to dive in now. Now, mentors are on mentors. One time I met one of my mentors, said something to me. He invited us for a meeting in Lagos, and myself and another person. And while we were on that session, while we were in that meeting, he got this international call, and he pleaded to quickly pick it. So he excused us, and he went to pick that call. And so when it was done, he came back to the seat, and he told us something that is been a game changer for me. He said that was my mentor. I mean, it was like we didn't hear him well. He said, "What did he say, sir?" He said that was my mentor. And then when he found out we were started, he said, "Never follow a mentor who does not have a mentor." That was I can't forget that. He said, "Never follow a mentor who does not have a mentor." What that means is that if you are following a mentor who does not have a mentor, literally you might be tormented, right? Because everybody, mentors are on mentors, just like leaders are on leaders, right? Everybody is growing. And remember, like we said when we started, every living thing is growing, right? The beauty, what makes you a living thing is because you are growing. And you're not just growing biologically, you are growing in wisdom, you are growing in intellect, you are growing, all round. I call it holistic development, right? So even when you have a mentor, your mentor also has another mentor, right? Leaders are on leaders, mentors are on mentors. So I want you to note this. And mentorship is a way to refine your leadership. Let me say that again. Mentorship is a way to refine your leadership, right? Leadership is all about influence. One major way to refine your leadership is through mentorship, right? It's through mentorship. It's through mentorship. Now, even when all of this is in place, how do you now identify a mentor? Which brings us to the first point: identification. Identification. How do you then identify a mentor? How do you identify a mentor? And this is simple. Let me give an example. There are two major forms a mentor could come in. Now, you could have what I call a vertical mentor, and you could have what I call an horizontal mentor, right? The illustration I gave earlier on, when we were talking about what Isaac Newton said, is an example of a vertical mentor. You are standing on the shoulder of someone who is gone ahead of you. The person is, you are looking up, assume you are looking up. Now, most times that is where everybody is. We always look up to find a mentor, right? And we're looking for someone who is older, someone who is wiser, someone who has lots of results, someone who is accomplished, someone who, and all of those factors, right? But I want to show you another form which could also achieve the same goal. Remember, the goal of mentorship is meeting a developmental need, right? So this second method is what I call horizontal mentors, right? So apart from just looking up every time, you can also look just within your horizon, right? Just look ahead where you are. You don't need to raise your eyes up. Just look ahead where you are. There's somebody who has gone ahead of you on that same line who can also be a mentor. That's what I call horizontal mentor. Sometimes these people could be, they could be, maybe you went to the same school together, or you have a similar age range, or you possibly you maybe you are both of the same age around that, and again, that you are the same age doesn't mean you are mates. In school we call ourselves classmates, but of course in life that classmates are not mates indeed, right? So even within your horizon line, just looking farther without looking up, you can find somebody who has gone ahead. It's just like a race. Somebody is ahead who can also be able to meet your developmental needs. And most times I always advise you grow from there. Most times many people want to aspire to get somebody who is far, who is high. I sent a mail, didn't reply me. No, start from someone who is just within your horizon line, someone who you possibly have a relationship with based on an acquaintance relationship, based on maybe haven't gone to the same school, been in the same church, been in the same environment or something. There could be an affinity, but in actual sense, that person is not a mate, is not a classmate, is not a mate in life. The person has actually, gotten a lot of mileage. You can actually even start from there. That is what I call horizontal mentor. Horizontal mentor. So that's the beauty, really. And it's not about age. No, it's not about age. It's not about that, right? And so I want to also show something. I want to share one or two things. Sometimes in identifying a mentor, it's not just about identifying the mentor directly. First, you need to also identify yourself. Someone put that in the comment box for me, please. Identify yourself. Identify yourself, right? For example, you need to identify, number one, what is my life purpose? Where am I going to? I'm looking for a mentor who is on a similar track to where I'm going to, who can help me meet my developmental need on this journey. Remember, we said leaders are on leaders, right? But the best leaders you will find are those who are on a similar path to where you are going to, right? So the essence of having knowing your destination is that you can be able to find a person who is going in a similar destination, right? So my own destination is in youth development, is in education. So most times when I'm looking for a career mentor, my career mentor is in that line, is in that field, right? Because that is where I'm going to, right? So you see, that is how it works, right? So in my journey to raising young people and molding minds, I'm going to ask myself, Abraham, what are the developmental needs I have? Are you seeing that now? Because a mentor is meant to meet that developmental. And I'm going to ask myself, what are the developmental needs I have? Last year I reached out to somebody I wanted to develop a mentorship relationship with, and I actually met the person on LinkedIn, right? If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, I advise you have one. That is a professional platform to even to relationship and collaborating with colleagues and like minds, right? I met him on LinkedIn, and from there, I was able to get the link to his website. I went through it. I loved what he was doing. I was excited about this. This is somebody who is a global leadership trainer, has traveled around the world, has trained for multinationals, and I knew I needed to follow, right? And I sent a message. I think I dropped a message on LinkedIn. I can't remember if I dropped a direct message, but from his website I found a mail address, and I sent a mail. But unfortunately I didn't get a reply, which is what we said. You are not entitled to a response. You are not entitled to a response, right? So I didn't give up, right? I didn't give up. Thank you so much. Rita says identify yourself. Thank you, Chika. Thank you, Sarah. And that was what I did. And I waited, but I still kept following. You see that now? Although I didn't get a reply to the mail, I kept following. Eventually, one day I just stumbled on a post. He made a post on LinkedIn because I was following. I was following passively, although I had not gotten an invitation for intimacy, but I was following passively. And then it was an opportunity. He was actually making a formal invite to mentor some few persons, and he gave a criteria, and then he gave a link, and what a mail and the dates and all of that. And I sent a mail this time around, and then I got a response. And of course, I got in, and I was invited for this. And of course, that relationship today has fostered into a mentorship relationship, having gotten the invitation for intimacy, right? So you see it now. So it's not an entitlement that the person didn't reply the first time. Doesn't mean that he may never reply, or doesn't even mean that he didn't see it, right? But don't have that entitlement mentality. Just keep following. If you see that, oh, this person has something that will help me meet my developmental need, right? So that was how that particular incident went for me. And I can't still forget the day. I remember the day we had the inaugural mentorship meeting. I still remember it, and that was just last year, really. And it was actually even over lunch. He served us lunch, myself and I think 2 or 3 other people, and we had a nice time. He shared his story with us. That is, you see, most times a mentor will not necessarily tell you what exactly you should do. Sometimes a mentor can suggest what you should do, but in the stories of the mentor, I'm sure you've had this several times, that the story, when you see a person, always ask for the story behind the glory, right? And and we asked that question, as we're discussing with him, tell us your story, and he started off sharing his story with us. And guess what? That the answers I was looking forward to in some of the developmental needs I had at that point, I was thinking of what next to do at some areas in my career. I got the answers just from listening to his story at that meeting, right? So that's one of the things you ask yourself to identify a mentor. Who has the authority? Number one, you've identified what is my developmental need. Number two, who has the authority? Who has gotten the impact? Who has the capacity? And that's actually how it works, right? So you don't just look for a mentor because the person has 12,000 likes on Instagram, or because the person, is a musical artist, or because the person is a whatever, name it. People have different flimsy reasons for that. You look for somebody who has the authority, the capacity, the results to meet the developmental needs you have identified, right? And the person could be vertical, and it could also be horizontal, right? Is this of value to you? Please let me know if you are finding this valuable, right? And that's how it works. Guess what? It can be a male, it can be a female. There's no gender bias to it. Although it could be advisable that a male mentor, a male protege, should seek for a male mentor, and a female protege could seek for a female mentor. But that doesn't say you can't have a male mentor as a female, or a female as a male for a mentor, right? That doesn't mean so, right? Now, after identifying yourself, the second thing you need to do is to identify your values. Identify your values. You see, most times, I'm sure you were not expecting this, right? Maybe you had thought that I would just give some answers to how to identify a mentor, but this time around, the bulk of the work is back to you as a person. The bulk of the work is back to you as a person. Number one, you identify where you're going to. Number two, you identify your values. Now, the reason is because you don't want to, it's a relationship. Relationship thrives based on values. Let me say that again. Relationships thrive based on value. I'm not just talking about just having some words. Some people say, oh, my value is not just about that. I remember when I read this book by Anthony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. He has this chapter on values. I think chapter 15 thereabout. If you have read that book, there's a particular chapter that talks about values. If you have it and maybe it's on your shelf, I would recommend it for you. It could help you in this area of identifying your values. Now, in that chapter, he was able to explain how you can actually identify your values. But let me bring out what I wanted to pick in this. When you identify when you are going to, the next thing is, I'm going to ask myself, right? You can put your name there. I'm going to ask myself, Abraham. Abraham, I'm going to ask myself, what do I need? What values will get me there? You see that now? This is where I'm going to, but what values will get me there? What values will get me there? This year, I refined my values, and I pasted it everywhere I could see. In my room, it's pasted there. My workplace is pasted there, such that I could begin to, see this as my guiding compass for life. And, beyond just knowing where I'm going to, I wanted to, yes, one of my values is what I call purposefulness, right? It means that every single thing I do, I want to know why am I doing it, right? It talks about intention, why. And so I have other value system. I have impact as a value system, global impact, right? And so, the point is, when you are seeking to identify a mentor, there must be 1-2 similarities in values, such that relationship can thrive. So, for example, if I value personal development, I want to look for a mentor who also values personal development. And most times, mentors actually also value personal development, because mentorship is a form of personal development. It's not a school. It's not the four wall of a school. It's a form of personal development as well, right? One of my values, like I said, is global impact. Yes, I've been making some national impact, but I said to myself, Abraham, God didn't say I should be the light of my kitchen or my town or my city. He said I should be the light of the world. A city that is set upon the hill cannot be hidden, right? So this was what I did, right? I needed to look for which mentor I was looking for a mentor who has that as a value as well. Which mentor actually is on the global scene? Which mentor is on the global scene that I can rub off to meet that developmental need that I have, right? It doesn't mean that your mentor will have all the same values you have. No, but there could be one or two similarities. For example, I values faith. I'm a faith person, right? So I'm going to pick a mentor who also is a faith person, because if I don't, soon in our mentorship relationship there's going to be a friction in our relationship because values are not the same, and it could advise me and suggest me to do something that is not of my own faith, and many things like that. That's how values and affinity to values work. I hope this is helping somebody, right? Now, I want to conclude on this point of identification. Like a scripture I shared earlier on, he that walks with the wise shall be wise. Of course, if you know the concluding part of that scripture, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed, right? So even if you are a wise person, I know you're a smart person, you're a wise young professional, you are visionary, and you have lots of ideas. But if you work with people who are not wise, your big vision will soon go down the drain. Your big vision will soon go down the drain. So it's a rule of thumb for life. And like I always share this simple principle: you are one wise person, one W. If you move with 5 wise people, what do you think will happen? You will be wiser. But if you, as a wise person, one W, you move with 5 other people who are foolish, what will happen? Your wisdom will soon become foolish as well, and such a person will be foolish, all because of association, right? So I want you to look at this. Who do you also have a heart connection to? Beyond identifying your life purpose, beyond identifying your values, who also do you have a heart connection with? I shared a story with you, how I was connected while I heard my mentor speak. I knew I needed to follow. I call it affinity of values. And this time around, there's a connection. Your heart connects with that person. When I was on my master's program, I was working on VS. I found where I was going to, and I was working on a project to, design development centers for young people. I was doing a prototype of that design, and my heart was connected to one of my lecturers in school then, who was able to guide me aright to meet that developmental need. Right? There's always a heart connection. The fourth thing I want you to do in identifying a mentor is look for expertise. I'm going to recap. Number 1, identify where you are going to as a person. Number 2, identify your own values and look for affinity of value. Number 3, we said look for a heart connection. There must be a heart connection. The fourth thing now is look for expertise, right? God is not a God of mediocrity. He's a God of excellence, right? So that you need a mentor doesn't mean you should go to someone who is not going to where you're going to, or that you should go to someone who is not an expert in that area, right? I want you to know this: popularity is different from mentorship. This is something we need to say over and again. Popularity is different from mentorship. How I wish many young people, we grab this, right? And many people go for influencers, and there's a part of influencers, and the concept of influencer, he has, like I said, he has many likes and many followers. But guess what? Expertise is not popularity. Yes, your mentor can have expertise, no doubt, but you are not just looking for popularity, you're looking for expertise. A mentor who will meet the developmental need. It's not a fun relationship. Your mentor is not even your friend. It's a learning platform. Like we shared in one of those models, it's a learning platform. So in summarizing, identify where you're going to as a person, identify your values, and look for affinity of value, and then heart connection. And the fourth one is expertise. They're really good at what they are doing. They are good at it. They can meet the developmental need you have, right? That is what you should look out for, right? This is amazing. I want us to go to the next point quickly. The next point is what we call engagement. Let me know if you're finding this valuable. Somebody awesome. Leke, thank you for joining in. Leke says yes. Thank you so much, Leke. Jerry says, thank you so much. Thank you, Jerry. Rita says, thank lot of value. Thank you, Rita. Thank you. Oshawa says, true. Thank you so much, Mr. Oshawa. Mr. Leke and I went to the same high school. Leke is a very smart guy. He's a doctor, he's a medical doctor, and he's doing a lot of great work. Thank you so much, Leke, for joining in, right? Now, look at this now. Engagement. How does engagement work? How does engagement work? Now you have identified a mentor. How do you now engage the mentor? Many people also they lose out on this part. Yes, they've identified the mentor, but the relationship just dies there because they have not been equipped to tools to actually engaging the mentor. Right now, the number one tool to engage a mentor is what I call communication. Communication. Someone let me put that in the comment box. Communication. As simple as communication is, like I shared with you in that story, I simply reached out, having identified this person. I found affinity of values. I found a art connection. I found expertise. I have identified where I was going to. I've identified my values, and then I reached out. Communication, right? Communication, communication. Let's even say you don't know this person you are trying to engage with. The first thing could even be that you follow the person on social media, right? You turn on this your notification across the social media handle of that person, such that you could always get to see the person and know more about the person, know more about the content the person shares, know more about. That's how to know more about people. You see it in their daily lives, right? So if you see a physical event they are hosting, you could go there. When you go there, you can actually feel the energy, you can feel the impact, you can see for yourself. I was in a live physical session when I met my mentor, seeing him speak, seeing his testimonies, hearing his testimonies. I knew I needed to follow, right? So this will give you an affinity. You will be able to know. But when you identify it, go ahead and communicate, right? You could communicate through a formal communication. It could be a mail, and but again, there's a skill to mail. We call it mail etiquette, right? There's a skill to that. For example, if you are sending a mail to somebody, make sure you address with the right salutation. Make sure you proofread that mail. One senior person once told me that someone sent a mail to her, and just the first line of the mail, the person spelled the name of the mentor wrongly, and because of that, she didn't read the mail. And so, but imagine the person that sent the mail on the other hand will be saying, "But I sent this mail to this person. She has not replied. It's so wicked." No, that's not how it works. You didn't follow the protocol well. So as simple as it is, communication, but again, communicate ethically, right? The right salutation, the right choice of words, words that show grace and humility. Communicate, right? And even if you are reaching out on social media, that one is it's a very delicate one. Many people get to slide into DMs of people, and someone has been sent, for example, someone has been sending me a message on Instagram, and the person is missing a whole lot. Today he comes and say, "Hello, sir." Tomorrow he says, "Hi, sir." Tomorrow, I don't know if you've gotten messages like that, or you have also sent messages like that. That is not communication. Mentors are busy. Your mentors are busy people. So, sending a salutation is not communication. Make a complete composition, make a complete message, and put that through, right? And let me give an idea. Let me give you a foresight on how you could do that. When you reach out, either you're sending a mail or you're dropping a direct message on social media, this is what you could do. When you're done with the salutation, start by building rapport immediately. Start by building rapport. Rapport says, what have you experienced from the mentor? What have you experienced from the mentor that caught your attention? Share that story with the mentor. That mentor or that prospective mentor is looking forward to getting that. So you could share that, I was at your event where you spoke about this and this and that, held at so place. What did you gain from it? Go ahead and say, I was so, when you said this, connect, quickly build a rapport. Quickly build a rapport. I saw your post the other day, and it has been a major blessing to me, especially on this and that. And you have to still be natural and be yourself. We're not talking about lying or falsifying something, right? Thank you so much. Joshua says, increase that volume. It's annoying. They just come and say, hi, hello. hello, how are you? And all of that. No, 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 it doesn't work that way, right? Thank you, Isaac Chika said communication. That's it, exactly. So, that's how to communicate. Once you build rapport, next thing is you could now, make your proposition. Make your proposition. You could drop a message. What is the developmental need you have? Where are you going to? A mentor wants to see that this person is visionary. And if I'm the one reaching out to a prospective mentor, I could say something like, since 2013, I've been, I started up a youth organization to help young people, groom young leaders across Africa and the world, and we've been able to impact over 6,921 direct beneficiaries to our programs. And currently, we are looking forward to how we can reach and make impacts in Uganda. And I've seen a whole lot of work you have done in the youth space in Uganda, and I've been following after you, and I'm so intrigued on it. And then I make my proposition. I'll be grateful if I can have an audience with you, maybe over a virtual meeting, or maybe if there's a way, or if there's a material you can recommend for me on how to build a global brand. Imagine that's my need. If that's my developmental need, once I drop that, and then I appreciate the time, and then I send that through. And of course, you make sure that if you are sending it as a mail, you make sure you have a mail signature. Your mail signature as your phone number, as your social media handles, or something where someone can reach you even after that if need be. The person can reply me and say, "Oh, Abraham, good to hear from you. I'm so glad you were part of the meeting in Uganda, and thank you for your kind words and all of that." And the person could say, "Oh, I actually have a book on how to be a global brand as a youth organization, and I think that will be of help to you." Now, and he shares the link to getting the book, and he says, and he ends that, "I will be so grateful to receive that reply." And my reply will be this way: "Thank you so much, sir, for sharing this. I just bought a copy of it." That is mentorship. Mentorship is not that saying, "Oh, sir, I don't. Can you send me the free copy?" Or no. It doesn't work that way. Build opportunity, build capacity to be able to get that offer. Is an invitation. The mentor could even be testing you with that offer to see if this person is actually interested. If you are interested in learning, you might not have found that book searching by yourself, but this person now tells you that, "Oh, this book will help you." So what do? Go after it and get it. When you are done reading, come back and share your learnings. And if you need more help, now go ahead. Then the person will say, "Oh, this person is really serious," and say, "Oh, well, we can even have a meeting. I'm coming to Nigeria. We can quickly meet there. We could meet up." That is how it works, guys. And from there, you see that the engagement keeps on. The engagement keeps on. The engagement keeps on. This is amazing. This is amazing. Let me know if you're finding this really valuable. I wish I'd learned this many years ago, when I actually started out to reaching out to mentors. But again, I'm also learning myself, right? I'm also learning myself. Thank you so much. Joshua says the connecting point that the mentor can relate to. Thank you so much for that. I'm grateful that is how you can build rapport. Thank you. Jerry says I'm really enjoying this. Thank you so much, Jerry, for that. Now, so in engagement, one of the first points in engagement is what we talked about: communication. Communication, right? Communication. Don't just communicate and say, "I want you to mentor me." That is vague. It is blank. It is bleak. There is no developmental need in that. Define and be definite exactly on what needs you want to be met. Share your vision, share your life goals, and that's actually how to communicate, right? That's how to communicate. Now, so beyond communication, how can you engage a mentor? Now, let's assume that you get an affirmative response. If you do, that's good. If you don't, keep at it. Keep following passively. Remember, you are not entitled, right? Keep following, right? But beyond communication, what else can you do? Be responsive. That's number 2. Be responsive. Be responsive. Someone help me put that in the comment box. Be responsive. Be responsive. So far we have gone ahead in this session. I could see the people who are responsive in this session, right? And sometimes I've even mentioned names of people who are responsive. Now, imagine someone reaches out to me, maybe in my DM or somewhere, or sends me a mail after this session and says, "Oh, hello, sir. My name is Chika. I was in your session on how to engage and all of that." And he shares with me, and maybe he was even appreciating the session. He was not even asking anything. He was just saying, "Thank you so much for the value you shared. I learned this and this and that, and because of this, I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3." And he says, "Thank you so much, sir." If he sends that mail, what do you think will happen to me? as a mentor or as a prospective mentor, if I am to Chika, for example, I will be so I will see that as a very smart and mature, move by Chika, and I will reply Chika most likely, and I'll say, thank you so much, Chika. I'm glad you found it valuable, and I'm glad you're taking action on it. Let me know, if you need more help. I could just send that, and this, by saying that alone, that is an invitation to intimacy I just gave to Chika, and Chika receives that, and he can take that up just because he was responsive in a session where a prospective mentor was facilitating. That's how it works. So it's not compulsory a session. It could be anything. It could be their post on social media. You say something valuable and reasonable in the comment box, right? It could be maybe their book, when you were done, with the book online, you left a review. It could be anything. Think about it. It could be anything. But the point is, be responsive. Even whilst you are following passively, be responsive. Be responsive, right? That's going to help a lot. It's going to give a lot of mileage. There are persons that have been following online, and some of them are horizontal mentors, and when I reach out to them, they just know that I know this person, and sometimes they may not be sure of where exactly. It's because I've been responsive along the way, right? I've been responsive along the way. That's how it works, guys. You see, these are inner secrets that you don't find just on the streets, right? And I just hope you are taking notes and taking actions with this learning. So the point is, don't be redundant, right? Don't be redundant. If you want to engage a mentor, don't be redundant. The next thing I want to share to engage a mentor is honor them. The first thing, communicate with them. The second thing we said is be responsive. The third thing is honor them. This one is key. Honor them. It's almost sounding like respect, but again, remember we said it's not by age. Whether the person is older than you or not, honor them. Don't call them by their nicknames, the nicknames their colleagues call them. No. Don't call them by their nickname. Honor them. Give the salutation, right? Mr. This, Mrs. This, Miss This. Give the salutation, honor them, right? And speak with respect. Don't speak with slangs. That's not for mentorship relationship. I know many people, because of the age of social media, many people are always looking for the fast way to communicate. But in mentorship relationship, it doesn't work that way. You don't begin to say things like, "Are you doing today now?" No, it doesn't work that way. How far now? How market now? No, that doesn't work in a mentorship relationship. That's not for that kind of relationship. So you speak with ethics. Speak like a global personality yourself. Learn more on corporate ethics and communication. Learn to speak that way. You're going to, beyond just speaking to a mentor that way, it's going to become part and parcel of you as you grow on, right? Remember, mentorship is a form of learning and development. It's all in the bid to growing, because you are a living being, right? And as a living being, you are a social being, right? This is amazing. So the next one I want to give you is that note that mentorship relationship is not a parasitic relationship. It is not a parasitic relationship is a relationship whereby somebody is always giving. Person is always giving. Always giving. Always giving. Always giving. Thank you, Joshua. Inner secrets are not found. It can't be found, though. It's inner secret, right? Really. Now, in mentorship relationship, it's not just parasitic. Mentor is always giving to you, always giving to you. You can also give to them. That's the next thing. You are responsive. You communicate with them. You are responsive. You honor them. The fourth thing is give to them. Give to them, right? Give to them. And of course, I want you to be open in this. Open your mind. There are many things you can give. It's not just about money. Give your time. Give your time. You may want to volunteer at their event. You may want to, whatever you can do. Is one of the ways to even gain mileage in engaging a mentor is that engage with a skill you have, right? I once heard of a story of John Obidi and I think Jimmy Terway, right? So John wanted to get closer to Jimmy, and John had a skill in live streaming events and online media and all of that. And John sent a mail to Jimmy Terway. Jimmy Terway was hosting a conference, and John says, "Oh, sir, I'll be able to live stream your event on audio." They were already doing a video live streaming, but I'm going to be able to live stream your event audio so that other people who can get on this platform be able to also listen to it. And Jimmy Terway says, "Oh, that's fine. I don't lose anything. Sometimes because you need to prove yourself, and before you gain the mark that you easily, your mentor can invite you for intimacy. And John came, brought his tools, and set up everything. The event went live. He was streaming the audio, and along the line during the event, even the video streaming they had banked on failed, and they had to refer people to the audio live streaming. At the end of it, John was the talk of the town because he helped other people in the diaspora get connected to that conference, and it was a big boom at the end of it. What do you think would have happened after that time? Of course, Jimmy Terry called him, appreciated him, and all of that, invited him to his house. This is how it works, guys. Give something, give your time, give your energy, give your resources. If you can as well, go with a gift. It's not about the volume of the gift you have. Remember that, right? It's just about the attitude, the attitude behind it. Sometimes there was a time I met my mentor, and all I had was a copy of my book. I autographed it. I said, "Thank sir, this is a copy for you. Thank you so much for all you do. I appreciate you." Give something. Give something. Give something, right? Give something. Who has this helped before? You've practiced this before and it has helped you. Anybody like that? This has helped you. Exactly. Jerry, he became the hero. He became the hero. Thank you. Rita says, speak like a global personality. Thank you for that. Exactly. He became the hero, and you see, that's how it works. So look for something you can give. Time, energy, resource, money, whatever it is, give something, right? Give something. And I want you to know this. Your mentor doesn't need what you're actually giving. It doesn't mean that your mentor is in need, that if you don't give it, it won't work. I'm sure things will still have to be fine, but you just show up so strong in their perception. You show up strong when you're able to give something. You show up strong, and it shows maturity, right? It shows maturity, right? And that's going to be that's an amazing word. So let's move on right now. One other last thing I want to say in engagement before we go to the next thing is that obey them. Obey them. We said we said honor them, communicate with them, honor them, be responsive, give to them. The fifth one is obedience. Obey them. Obey them. I know this one sounds a bit, maybe some people are rejecting this, but that's a major one. Obey them. Now, I don't want you to get me wrong. Not all ideas from a mentor may be correct, right? Not all ideas from a mentor may be correct. But amongst the ideas from a mentor, some will be correct. And not just about being correct, some are actually what you need to do to meet your developmental need. But if you don't implement it, how do you think the mentor will feel? The mentor spent 2 hours with you. You guys mapped out let's say you are working on a business model canvas and all of that. And the mentor is expecting that in the next 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you should give a feedback. Obedience, guys. This is a major strong way to engage mentors. Obedience. Obey an idea. It may not be all of them, but come back and give a feedback on the one you have obeyed. Share the results you have gotten from the one you have obeyed. If it didn't even work, come and share the I did this, but it didn't work. Come and share it. They want to hear it. They want to hear that you actually found what they shared valuable, and you actually are seeing them as someone you can learn from. That's the idea. That's the idea. Your mentor will be excited and willing to share more with you, from their word of experience when you do so. But when you don't obey, when you don't go back, when you don't share what you did, when you don't share how you went, when you don't share the result, it's going to stifle that relationship, guys. It's going to stifle that relationship. Is this valuable to somebody? Because that's the goal of learning. Is this valuable to somebody? Thank you so much. Joshua says spontaneous gifts and capital. Exactly. Spontaneous gift, yeah. Their birthday. Thank you for this. Celebrate them on their birthday, their children's birthday. Build emotional capital. Emotional bank account. Volunteer. Celebrate them. I have a note on my phone because I don't have the skill. Some people have the skill. You can remember all dates. I don't. So what I do is that I have a note. I put the names of my mentors' children, because sometimes next time I'm communicating them, I've forgotten. So I just put the name there. And sometimes I ask my wife to remind me. Oh, sorry, what's the name of this? And I say, okay, I name it. So when I'm discussing, easily I can ask after the welfare of the family, can ask after the children, mentioning their names. And Joshua shared, celebrate their children's birthday. Put down the name of their children's birthday. Write it down somewhere, not that you forgot. Put it on your Google calendar. Set the alarm. Remind me a day before every year. It's going to remind you. This is how it works, guys. Their wedding anniversary, put it there. You see, this is what is called emotional bank account, right? Thank you. Exactly. Rita puts it this way: fill your mentor's emotional bank account and obey more. Exactly. That is how it works, guys. That is how it works. You can even put a reminder on the day you met the person. So day, so place. And then that day you just remind the mentor, sir, thank you so much. I remember the day we met, and then you put a call through, you send a message, whatever it is. It's all about the engagement. It's all about engagement, right? It's all about engagement. This is amazing, right? This is amazing. I wanted to go to the next point. Remember, I was still talking about how to identify the right mentor and make the most out of that mentorship, right? Let me mention two or more things. I want to stress on two or more things. This last points I'm going to stress on will actually help us even in getting the best from this. Now, this third point. Let's go to the third point. Relationship. I'm running up gradually. Relationship. We take relationship and then guidance. Relationship. Now, the idea is that yes, you have identified a mentor and you are engaging a mentor, but for that relationship to thrive, it's a form of a relationship. It's called mentorship relationship. There are several kinds of relationship. You have courtship, you have friendship, you have partnership, you have membership, you have internship, you have name it. There are several kinds of relationship. Mentorship is one form of relationship as well, right? I call it a ship mission, right? A ship mission, right? Many people who have been under my various session, my relationship harmony class, my career harmony class, or something like that, you would have heard me say this, right? So the idea is that when you are invited, don't destroy the invitation of intimacy by the proximity of familiarity. Let me say that again. A mentor gives you an invitation of intimacy. Don't destroy that invitation of intimacy by the proximity of familiarity. Over time, because you have been engaging with this mentor, because of our social beings as human beings, you may want to assume proximity and familiarity, and you may just want to, greet them anyhow, call them by their nickname, but it may not work that way, guys. It may not work that way. Don't destroy the invitation of intimacy by the proximity of familiarity. Don't destroy it. What that means is that when you get an opportunity to have a close relationship with a mentor, don't destroy it and assume you are now very familiar with the person, right? Don't do that. Some people are close to me, but they mistake that proximity, and that for familiarity, and they've lost more that they could get from that relationship. And it's unfortunate, right? I think I have one or two persons who have also been following me and on this call. Exactly, Chika is someone who we've been doing some work together. We're actually even hosting a webinar this Saturday. Maybe I will share the details about that when we're done with this training. And I can remember way back from 2013, we'll be doing some work together, and he's been a great mentee, right? But again, don't take that invitation when you have an opportunity to have a close relationship with a mentor. Don't take that invitation and destroy it with the proximity of familiarity, right? Don't do that, right? Honor the opportunity. Honor the opportunity. Honor it well, right? Honor it well. So as a form of recap, we said communicate with them, be responsive, honor them, give to them, obey them. Now we are on relationship. On relationship. How do you relate, with a mentor? How do you relate with a mentor? How do you relate with a mentor? Right? The idea is this, and I want you to know this. Sometimes we trivialize the part of the little things in communication. And because of that, we're not able to get the best from the relationship with a mentor. But let me hammer on what I'm actually talking about now. The fuel for relationship is communication. Let me put it in another way. When you want a relationship, let me even use an example. Let me use a friendship relationship or a romantic courtship relationship. When you want a friendship to blossom, what do? You relate more, and you relate more by communicating. I call that the fuel for relationship. The fuel for relationship is communication. And I used to say this: if you want to kill any relationship, you want to reduce the relationship. In my career harmony class, I take you through the 5 various levels of relationship: casual, acquaintance, casual, close, intimate, and all of that. If you want to adjust anybody on either of the levels of that relationship, what you do is you just adjust the communication. And if you want the relationship to die a natural death, just stop communicating. It will naturally die, a natural death. So what's the point? If you want to keep engaging a mentor, you must keep communication going. 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 Checking, and this has to be genuine. So that's why you may need to put it as part of your itinerary, monthly, daily, weekly, depending on what relationship you have and how that engagement has been, right? Whereby you're checking up on them. It's a new month, reach out to them. Like we said earlier on, they're celebrating something. Celebrate them, appreciate them. They just finished the project. Celebrate them, be part of it as much as you can. Just build relationship. Be human. That's it. Remember when we started, we said we are social beings. So just be a real social being. Communicate. Be a real social being. Communicate. Build that relationship. And that ties to like what we shared earlier on. Now, the last one is this: guidance. The last one is guidance. Guidance. Thank you. Jerry says since 2013. Exactly. Now, so what happens in guidance, right, guys? I wanted to watch this. Guidance simply talks about yes, you have been getting lots of ideas from a mentor, but most times people most times have this perception that a mentor will guide them and show them the way, but the point I just want to stress on is that most often than not, we get the best of mentorship relationship by observation. We get the best mentorship relationship by observation. Not every time you actually have a physical meeting or a virtual meeting or a talking conversation. Just by observing the person, how is this person doing it? This person ran this project. How did the person run it? This person did this. How did the person do it? You learn more by observation. So passively, you learn that way, right? So you don't necessarily need to have a meeting before you learn from your mentor. You can chat up with your mentor if you have an opportunity to. You can communicate by mail if you have an opportunity to. If he calls you, you can call him. You can call up. Whatever communication model you have. Just keep learning, right? Keep learning. That's actually how it works, right? In my book, The Career Leader, there was a chapter I actually cited various kinds of mentors when I was talking about the fact that mentors leaders are on leaders, mentors are on mentors, mentors are on mentors. Let me just read a few excerpts from you for that. Mentors are on mentors. So you see, everybody is actually learning from somebody. It's not that. So in page 83 of my book, The Career, I had a table there where I cited some mentors and their proteges and mentees. So for example, Michael Faraday, with all the great things Michael Faraday did, Humphrey David was his mentor. With all the great things he did. What of Miles Monroe of blessed memory? Oral Roberts was his mentor. So mentors are on mentors, guys. What of David Oyedepo? Kenneth Copeland is his mentor. What of Sam Adeyemi? David Oyedepo is his mentor. So you look at this now. Leaders are on leaders. So that I'm being mentored by somebody doesn't mean that I also cannot mentor somebody else. So that I'm mentoring somebody else does not also mean that someone is not also mentoring me. Leaders are on leaders. Mentors are on mentors, right? So that is how it works, guys. It goes on and on. Right? Let me read some more for you. What about Dio Israel? Dio Israel is being mentored by Senator Mamora. Wow. What about Bill Gates? Bill Gates is following, Dr. Roberts, Dr. Ed Roberts. What about Jim Collins? Jim Collins is following, was following Peter Drucker. What of Anthony Robbins? Anthony Robbins is following Jim Rohn. What of Mark Zuckerberg? Zuckerberg is following, Steve Jobs, was following Steve Jobs of blessed memory. What of Oprah Winfrey? Oprah Winfrey was following Mary Angelou of blessed memory. Steve Harris is following Fela Durante. Everybody is following somebody. So the question I want to ask you this evening is, who are you following? Who are you following? Who are you following? Someone let me get your answer in the comment box. Who are you following? Who are you following? This is something we need to actually, this is actually how it works, and we need to trash this. Who are you following? Rita says, you have just given us keys that will fast track our success journey. Thank you. My pleasure, Rita. I'm glad you found that valuable. Please take action with it, and I'll be glad to hear of your results shortly, right? Now, let me begin to close, guys. Like I shared in with guidance, it's not just a hand holding necessarily. Yes, a mentorship relationship is a walking, talking relationship. Some people sometimes assume role model as mentors. If you can't have a walking, talking relationship with the person, and that person is a role model, right? And it's not bad. You can start from that. That was what I was sharing earlier on with a passive way. But again, if the person must be your mentor, it must be defined. The person must know you. The person must, there must be a communication channel, physically, virtually, whichever way. And so it's a walking, talking relationship. But having said that, we have come a long way, really. And I'm grateful for your attention, and I want to appreciate that. But I do not want you to take it for granted. Definitely, I do not know it all personally myself. I'm also learning to be a good mentor, a better mentor. Of course, I'm also learning from other mentors as well, right? But again, each one of you, as you also grow to become a mentor as well, because it's a rule of thumb for life. No matter how much great things you know, if you can't pass it on and raise other leaders, then you have failed, right? Rita says, I'm following Alex Katney. Awesome. Jerry says, I'm following people like you. I don't know you, Jerry. Are you sure? So you see, yes, you are also preparing to also mentor other people. That's a way to give back to life. If you have not raised other leaders, then that's failure, right? So as you're also being mentored, also look for others you can also mentor. That's how it works in life. You don't need to know everything before you mentor somebody. Remember, you are at point Z. Another person is just starting at point A. You can help the person. Or you are even at point, K. Someone else just started from A, or is in B, or is in C. You can help that person. So you don't have to have learned everything, known everything, been everything. No. You can serve with the little you know. You can help another person with the little you know. And, that's one way we can serve the world, right? That's one way we can serve the world. That's one way we can serve the world. I remember there was a time we went to a high school outreach, and when we were done with the session, I could remember vividly, the vice principal said in his remarks that, it was likening our session to a typical session that he said, in his words, he said this was how Masmuro started. That was way back. And when he said those words, something triggered within me, and I was not surprised. Do you know why? Why? Because I've actually been following Masmuro before that time. I listened to all of these messages I could find, read his books, read a series on purpose, on potential, read all I could find, and my heart was connected to him. So when that vice principal said those words, I just smiled, and and it was just something amazing to hear from somebody. So sometimes you need to look for a heart connection, because mentorship could be a transference of spirits sometimes. So if you don't want the spirit the person is carrying, don't follow. So literally the mentor, the principal could say, I saw the spirit of Masmuro in you, and as I taught in that session, and I was just glad to hear that, right? So this is how it works, guy. Remember, there are different forms. There are different forms of learning. There's training and coaching. There's training and teaching. There's coaching. There's mentorship. There's counseling. There's even consulting. Mentorship is just one form of it. That you can apply. And when you apply this, you'll be amazed. Like Rita said, you have given us the keys to fast track our success journey. Exactly. You'll be amazed on the great track, on the great impact you will make. I'm going to share these stories as I close. Many years ago, I remember when I was about to go on my national youth service. So yes, at this point in time, I'd found, you remember I said identify where you're going to. I'd identified where I was going to. I knew I found my life purpose. It was definite, it was emphatic, it was not a guesswork. And I knew that, I want to use this. I want to use this year to serve the country. I want to use this year to serve wherever I am. I want to use this year to gain mileage in my life purpose. So to do that, I met two people, two mentors. I reached out to them. I communicated with them like we shared, and they gave me audience. One of them gave me an audience in Lagos. We met at an eatery, gave me, I think, an hour plus of his time, and he shared with me, gave me guidance. This is what you can do to maximize the National Youth Service year, this, that. It was amazing. I appreciated his time. He's in France today, right? He's doing a lot of great work. His name is Abiodun Odunuga, right? And I met another person. I reached out to him. He obliged as well. This time, he gave me 2 hours of his time. We met somewhere in Surulere in Lagos. 2 hours of his time. That's a big treasure. And his name is Ajani Tunji. When we're done with all of those, when I was done with those two mentors, I could define the service year. I'm telling you guys, I finished the service year because of the guidance I got from that mentorship relationship. When I finished the service here, beyond just impacting the community I was serving, I finished with a state award. Not just that, I finished a national honors award, by being one of the 3 people who got a state award. And I was able to achieve a great mileage in my life assignment. In that year, I was able to be the first prototype of the school youth development center, and we started up the model. We ran the curriculum, we ran the pilots, and we saw the impact. This is how mentorship works, guys. If I just sat down, see how could I achieve it, what could I may not have been able to figure it out on my own. But remember, whatever developmental need you have, break it down to various areas of life. Financial, you could have financial mentors, career mentors, academic mentors, name it. So the point is, have mentors who can help you meet your developmental needs part time, right? And look for their expertise. Just follow the principles we have shared and put the engagement on, and just keep growing. Someone may be asking, if you have a question, please feel free to drop it. I'm about to take questions now. And this is a question that sometimes comes to mind. Can you outgrow your mentor? Can you outgrow your mentor? Maybe you find that you are not getting value from your mentor again. What do you think, guys? Anybody with an answer, please feel free. We could learn together. Share your thoughts. Can you outgrow your mentor whereby this you're not getting any value again? Is that possible? But let me share some thoughts while we wait for some contributions on that. Yeah. Now, can you really outgrow a mentor? I may not necessarily put it in the form of outgrowing a mentor. Everybody is growing, so even your mentor is growing. So you can't outgrow. It's not a competition of who grows faster or who grows higher. No, everybody is growing. But you may get to a point whereby you feel that, you're not getting, maybe you're not getting as much value to meet your developmental needs, and stuff like that. It could happen, but that doesn't mean you should stifle the relationship. So even when you're not getting guidance, and you remember, guidance is one of the core things you could get in a mentorship relationship. So even when you're not getting guidance, you can still maintain the relationship, right? Life is about relationship, right? So it's not just about what you get. No, that's a selfish interest if it's just about what you get. Look for what you can give. So even if you think you have outgrown and you think, possibly there's a value you need and you're not getting, you give the value back to the mentor. Give the value back to the mentor, right? Jerry says you should be able if you are very hungry. Okay, I didn't get that very well, though, but I think it was still about the same question we're answering. So look out for it, guys. And sometimes some people say, Mr. Abraham, I've not been able to find a mentor. They don't reply me. Guess what? Maybe you have been looking too far and you've been looking up. Remember, we said you can look just within your horizon line. Just look ahead. There could be someone that could just meet that developmental need to start with, and you get along, and that could help, right? So try that, and let's see. Feel free. I love to hear from you, and I would love to know how this has worked for you. If there are no other questions, let me know if there's any other question I've not taken. Exactly. Joshua is an automation expert, and Joshua does a lot of work in automation. You need a mentor, in business automation, in smart apps, smart development, smart things. Joshua is your go-to person. Joshua also said you could use Google Calendar, Calendly, or Serve app. I hope I got that. Thank you, Joshua, for that. Thank you for that. You could use that. Thank you so much. Right. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Please, guys, let me know if you've gotten value from this. If you have any other question you want us to take before we are out on this session, please put that in the comment box. Put that in the comment box before I invite Mr. Abe, our host, to close this session and give his closing. If you have any other contribution, please put that in. Put that in. Okay, Rita says there can be phases of outgrowing, but there should not be phases of being useful. Rita, can you rephrase that? There can be phases of outgrowing, but there should not be phases of being useful to each other. I didn't get that later part. If you can rephrase that part, let me get that. Jerry says, thank you so much, sir, for the session. Thank you, Jerry. Glad you found it valuable. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Let me know. Okay, Rita, try to rephrase that and let's get that contribution very well. I also have one or two. Books I may recommend. I read some part of my book. The Career Leader. There's a part I dedicated to mentorship, to refine your leadership. You can get that. You can get the audio copy of that book. I'll drop the link in the comment box. There's this book by Robert Thompson, 10 Critical Laws of Relationship. 10 Critical Laws of Relationship, and of course he dealt with mentorship as one of those laws. You could get that as well. There's also one book by you could also get John Maxwell's book. He has a series of book on 101 series. You could get that entire series. I have a lot of them. That could also help as well. That could also help as well. So I want to say thank you so much. Chika says thank you so much for the session. Valuable, very valuable. Going to implement. I look forward to. I'll be watching with you in my eye, Chika. Rita says this is a very corrosive. Awesome. This is a very corrosive session. Thank you for that. Jerry says I need a career and financial mentor. Awesome. Go for it and get it. Awesome. So I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Abiodun Mustafa, our host and the convener of the Growth Hub Africa, to make his remarks before we close this evening.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Abraham Owoseni. That was an amazing, phenomenal, and impactful session. Definitely, we can't see. I was going through the platform, moving through. I missed through different platforms, and I've seen how impactful it was. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
I also want to appreciate everyone who joined the session. Thank you for taking time. It's been almost 2 hours on this session. That's how much you can see a teacher, Mr. Abraham Owoseni, is. Thank you so much. Thank you for
thank you, sir.
all you do. Thank you for leadership, and thank you for impact.